Thumbs up. The guy in the front likes it. We have $150 from Oz that says, let's see that reverse boss order, whatever that is. We have $150 from Shiroto, who says, in all caps, make the Donkey Kong reverse boss run happen! We are, let's see, what do we have here? We have $17,813 out of $20,000. Come on, we're getting there. We're getting there. Come on, let's get that final push. All right, and with that, we're going to go to an interview with Spike, I think, is over there. All right, let's do it.
It's me. Morning, everyone. We are rolling deep here at AGDQ 2018, a little earlier than we usually are up. I'm Spike Machia, and I am joined by Waffle42 and Void, the two racers of our upcoming Donkey Kong Country 2 Warpless race coming up after this. Gonna be a ton of fun, super hype, two of the best runners in the world. Boys, how are we doing this morning?
Doing well. Earlier than I'm used to.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could tell. It's like we barely showered and got down here in time. We're good to go.
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into asking you guys, speedrunning, you know, I've been around since 2004, and we've gone through so many different generations now of speedrunning where I've seen different people. I forget all the different people, especially of historical speedrun like Donkey Kong Country 2. Do you guys remember what was the event that got you into speedrunning, and specifically Donkey Kong Country 2 speedrunning?
For me, it was finding Reflected's old DKC to any percent PB. It was 41.57, world record at the time, and that was like the first Donkey 2 run I encountered on Twitch, and from there, the rest is history, basically.
Do you think he's ever going to come back?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify with that. Waffle, what about for you, man?
Yeah, I think the first thing that like really got me into it was when Reflected and Claude were going back and forth, just trading records.
Yes.
And it was especially a big thing because at the time I thought, oh, it's like the 10 seconds you save on VC, like that's impossible to overcome. But
Sure.
then seeing that a console player was able to do that, to just go head to head, I was like really inspired by that.
Those really are, to me, the best moments in speedrunning. And I feel like you guys kind of have that little bit of competition right now as well. Again, we've got the top two players in the world at both Warpless and any percent. Really high quality we got here. In my opinion, and I don't even think I'm biased because I actually never played Donkey Kong Country 2 until just a few years ago. I think Donkey Kong Country 2 is one of the best speed games of all time. And I have my own reasoning for it, but you guys probably agree. I know you're probably frustrated with the game at this point after the thousands of hours.
I agree with you. I think,
Okay.
yeah, like for me, Donkey 2 is like the perfect balance of like platforming and tricks, like movement, stuff like that. And for me, it's like one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's like second for me of all time, and probably like my favorite Super Nintendo game ever.
Everyone's gonna be annoyed if I don't ask the question. What's number one?
Metroid Prime.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Prime 2018.
Prime 2018.
All right, that might be my next question coming up. What about for you, Waffle? What's it that keeps bringing you back to this game after all the frustrations and all the lost runs?
Yeah, I mean, of course, with most of these Nintendo games that we speedrun, it's nostalgia that does
Sure.
that. And I think a large part is just David Wise's soundtrack.
Yes.
Brings me back, and every time I'm, if I'm in the Webwoods Infinite, then I don't mind it so much as long as I get to hear
Yeah.
those songs playing,
Please pick a speed game with a really good soundtrack that you like. That's,
Yeah.
that's
You're
actually
gonna hear it a
that's
lot.
a legit recommendation. You're gonna hear, especially the first couple of songs, first 5 minutes worth. Gonna break it up one question for each of you guys. Now, Void, I know you're an incredibly competitive guy. I don't know you to really go into speed games unless you want to be one of the top runners. Now, after you're done here with Donkey Kong Country 2, take another break. What do you see being that next speed game that you really take seriously?
Well, yeah, I mentioned Prime, but we're also talking about Mega Man X2 in the Donkey community.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
A Richard Pace spin, that's right. Okay,
Yeah. So like, there's X2, then like there's maybe a Pokemon game, then like maybe go back to Link to the Past for the tourney upcoming in March, I think. And yeah, there's probably a lot of Donkey as well next year.
Heck
Or
yeah,
this
dude.
year, yeah.
Waffle, for you, I want to ask you. I remember watching you when you were chilling in like the 42 range and any percent. This year, it really kind of the last I would say 18 months went. Wow, Waffle's one of the best players in the world at this game. But what is to you your more favorite accomplishment, I guess, within this game? That the 39 you achieved in any percent, or the 41 that you got live here on stage and everybody? And be honest about it. What was your, I guess, your better accomplishment in your eyes? What's gonna be your favorite memory?
Yeah. I honestly I think my favorite memory was the GDQ race from last time. Just because I don't know, it was my first GDQ event, and there were other people
You
depending
did pretty
on me.
good for your first
Yeah,
event.
no, it couldn't have gone better, really. And just that, other people were depending on me, and I felt like,
Sure.
oh, it's like this big team thing,
Sure.
and there were all these people in the audience. It was like prime time Friday, all that. So just like being able to not completely collapse under the
Sure,
pressure. It's
sure.
like,
Yeah.
okay. And the fact that it went so well, I was really happy with that. And yeah, and the 39 was amazing too. I didn't think I could do that, but I think that can go down farther. So
Sure. I look forward to the competition between these two guys. Make sure to follow both of them, Void and Waffle42. Their names will be up here in another run. We got a couple of great social media questions here that I want to get to. We got one here from Scrooge McDuff. From that name, you can already tell it's pretty good. Boys, cookie, biscuit, or cake? Which is better?
Oof.
I mean, the problem is we're being very general with those.
yeah.
So just any cookie, any biscuit. Are we talking about like a Popeyes biscuit or like a KFC
Right.
biscuit?
There's a lot of
Yeah.
interpretation here.
I'll roll with the cookie myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like-
Chocolate chip cookies.
I think
with
cookie.
like a glass of milk. dessert.
oh, okay.
Maybe a hot macadamia nut. Yeah.
Okay, I'm like an oatmeal guy. Oatmeal raisin. Am I? No, you two, I can already tell. Y'all aren't judging. You're like, never mind. I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. All right, one more question we got here. Maybe a little more serious, at least pertaining to Donkey, I guess. What is your favorite song from the OST? This guy says, please say Sticker Brush Symphony. Shouts to Media Query. Further question. You don't have to say Sticker Brush Symphony. It's okay. But what is your favorite track?
Mine is the credits song, actually. The song that
Yeah,
plays
dude.
out during the credits. If like we have to take a song from the stages in the game, I would say Crook's March, which is the castle theme.
Yep.
That's a pretty good one.
We're going to get to hear a lot more of that in this Warpless race coming up.
Spoiler alert.
I think for me it's probably Forest Interlude. The aforementioned Webwoods Infinite. Like, if not for Forest Interlude, that would probably make me go crazy playing
Sure.
this game. So, yeah, definitely that's the pick for me.
Well, awesome job, boys. I am looking forward to the race. It's going to be coming up right after this Wario's Woods run. Just want to plug two quick prizes because these are amazing. During the Donkey Kong Country 2, this Donkey Kong Country block of sorts, but only you guys can make it a block because we need to get in those last couple $1,000 donations to get reverse boss order that Void will do for you guys right after the Donkey Kong Country 2 run. You don't want to miss it. It makes no sense that that exists. We just made it, and you guys
Hell
are
yeah.
awesome. Just kidding. Woo! All right.
Rolling deep.
During this 5-minute interview, we were $2,500 short. What happened? All right. Well, thank you. Void will also be doing that. I hope you're ready to go. We got two awesome prizes right here. We've actually got this amazing vinyl record right here. Let me actually, we've got the record right here. Yes, over to this one. This has a bunch of Donkey Kong Country 1 tracks on it. Super duper sweet. You want more David Wise in your life. Here's the cover. I mean, that right there, that's how you know it's good. Yeah, exactly. Someone in the audience is going to steal it later, you can tell. All right, we got this, and we've got this awesome statue. I don't want to touch, I don't want to break it or anything. You know me. We've got this awesome King K. Rool statue right here with the Wonder Bust.
Blunderbuss.
The Blunderbuss?
Yes.
I do not know the name of this gun. But it is an amazing statue. This was provided by, I'm going to butcher your name, I'm so sorry, by Jace Thor, JC Thor. That is a $30 minimum donation to get into the drawing for this and the $15 minimum donation for the vinyl soundtrack. Get in for both of those and for all the other awesome prizes. Again, $150 minimum cumulative throughout the entire marathon gets you into the drawing for the grand prize, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch. Lots of cool stuff we got here for you guys, including this Wario's Woods run coming up right afterwards, and then two not just one, but 2 Donkey Kong Country runs after that. Gonna be hype, guys. Enjoy the rest of AGDQ 2018.
Rolling out.
Rolling out.
Well, that's right. We are going to be seeing Void do the Donkey Kong Country 1 reverse boss order thanks to a $2,000 donation from Stacy, who said, let's get that final push for the DKC reverse boss order. Come on. Stop and Fritz had $150.01 that said AGDQ brings together the coolest people in the gaming community, and also Spike Vegeta. Let's make the Donkey Kong reverse boss order happen, people. Hype. Toust with $100, said I was going to wait till later to put in my yearly donation, but Donkey Kong, come on, people. Thank you for all that you guys do for charity, for the countless hours that these runners put in to showcase their games to us, and of course the volunteers. By the way, the Aladdin run was sick. And also there was an anonymous donation for $1,000 as well. Donations coming in big. We have a $150 donation from Michelle that said, Donkey Kong Country was one of my favorite games growing up. I could have never imagined that the bosses could be done out of order, let alone reverse order. I want to see this blow my mind, and of course, we are going to be seeing that. The reverse boss order got up to about $21,000 before the incentive was met, so that's pretty exciting. We've got the Wario's Woods run coming up from peteyboo. Getting excited to see that. I don't know how he's going to beat this game as quick as he plans to, given the fact that I couldn't really get past the first couple of levels on it. If you like puzzle games, if you like, Kirby's Avalanche, Tetris, games like that, or you're just a fan of Toad, you're definitely going to want to check this run out. Go with $150 said, very happy to see Magical Poppin' run at a GDQ. Let's push to get Donkey Kong reverse boss order. It sounds like a ridiculous run, and we are going to be seeing that one coming up as well. All right, now we're going to go to peteyboo for Wario's Woods. Getting excited to see this one. Petey, take it away.
All right. So I think before we start, we should do a roll call on the couch because we're going to be talking a lot about the game. And so I'm peteyboo. I run the game.
I'm Monty.
They think I'm good. I'm not.
I'm Cypher.
I like being smart.
All right. So we're going to do hard mode, which is exactly the same as easy mode except less characters.
Yeah, there was a weird convention with puzzle games at this time where they made the difficulties, like the higher difficulties start you on a later enemy in the game, but nothing else changes. It's really weird.
Yeah.
All right. So if we can get ready on. All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is actually the first appearance of Wario's Woods in a GDQ, so we're very excited.
Yes.
Yep. That's not what I wanted.
So you're going to see very quickly that one of the most critical strategies to running this game is assembling 5 and 6 clears all the time. What a 5 clear does is it does multiple things. It spawns a diamond, which the diamond itself does multiple things, but it helps clear a lot of blocks from your screen. And it also changes all the opponent's bombs into monsters, and you need to use bombs to clear things. And then additionally, the 5 clear lowers their ceiling. So lowering their ceiling is like the main way of killing them quickly. I know that was a lot to take in, but there's a lot of stuff going on in this game. We'll try to explain it as best as we can.
This is a very dynamic speed run. And you'll see peteyboo in the earlier stages clearing all his monsters as fast as possible using the 5 combos and the gems. And then later on, we'll see a lot of crush kills, which we will explain later. But basically, every time you do a 4 combo or greater, the very looming swamp block on your opponent's screen is going to lower. And it's really fun to see a crush kill.
And I think one of the things that makes this more unique than maybe some of the other games like Puzzle League or Tetris Attack that you might have seen in previous marathons is the fact that you are moving everything. You are moving the monsters. You are
AGDQ.
moving the yes, AGDQ file name there. You're moving the monsters. You're moving the bombs. You are. Whereas, like in the paneled pawn games, you're switching horizontally, or perhaps in Dr. Mario, or in Tetris, the stuff is dropping from the top of the screen. This is like you are in charge, and there's something so empowering about being able to do this fast when you are the one. If you make a mistake, it's on you. If you do well, it's on you. It's just, it's a really unique kind of puzzle game that's out there, and we're really happy it's at AGDQ. By the way, if you donate $10 during the run, you have the eligibility to get a really, really cool Wario's Woods poster. I highly recommend it because it's amazing. So definitely get in for that.
Yeah, so I think we might have skipped some more advanced stuff right away. In case you're still a little puzzled by what's going on screen, the basic mechanic is clearing 3, and you need to have at least 1 bomb or diamond in a line of 3, and it can be sideways, up and down, or diagonal. And so, because you're controlling Toad and you don't have like this abstract cursor, like, you know, it's a little more cumbersome to move around, but that just means that there's more skill involved in terms of actually moving stuff around quickly.
Yeah, and as with a lot of things in life, it's about efficiency and making sure. And one of the unique things too is once you get rid of an entire color, that color will not show up again. So right now, the only things that can drop from the ceiling are the cyan and blue. And so,
Pink.
Cyan and pink. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Don't
I
confuse it
know
between the
colors.
blues.
Yes, I like being smart. I do know colors. But yeah, so once you clear out an entire color, that color can no longer drop. So it's very important, as well as getting the 5 clears early on, to try to just completely get rid of a color so you have less options to drop and are able to clear your monsters quicker than the opponent. But like they were saying, especially in normal mode in these earlier runs, you just want to crush. You want to lower the thwomp at the top of the screen. You do that by getting 4 or more in a row, and also something called breakfast eggs, where you can kind of do like if you
Like
clear,
a multi-clear.
Yeah, like a multi-clear. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
So-
breakfasts are cool because when you use one piece to clear multiple lines and like all those clears are intersecting on one piece, then you can send an egg to your opponent's screen. If they don't hatch the egg in time, then it'll drop like a row of monsters on their screen. And it's just like a really funny thing.
Yeah.
And then there is one final way of like attacking your opponent, which is the chain, where that's like something you'll know from Puzzle League, where you clear something and then the
Like
pieces that drop from that then lead to another clear. And then that sends a column of monsters to your opponent. However, the column is all of the same color, so it's pretty easy to clear columns sent by chains. Chains also accomplish something else. You'll see 2 bars in the middle at the top that are constantly going up throughout the round. And when the bar reaches the top, then Raven mode starts. And during Raven mode, both bombs and monsters are being dropped. You never want to be in Raven mode, just ever.
No.
So by getting a chain, you actually lower the bar that is determining when you go to Raven mode.
It's interesting you call it a raven. There's quite a debate about what that creature actually is.
Okay, it's officially a Pidgeot from Super Mario Bros. 2 US.
However,
but,
if you read the game manual that comes in the box, it says it's the black bat.
Who does that?
Yeah, they just totally screwed up there. I'm used to calling it Raven mode, so.
I used to call it an owl for what it's worth.
Yeah, I called it an owl as well.
Well, hopefully you don't see the owl ever, at
Yes,
least on our
that's-
side during the run.
Oh, so our enemy here has a breakfast egg and a gem. So if it clears it, all of PD's monsters bombs turn into monsters.
Luckily, I didn't have too much, so it didn't affect me.
Right.
So if you've been watching the AI's part of the field, you'll notice that it's not very good at playing the game. But occasionally it'll get lucky and like send stuff over to your field. So you don't really want that to happen. Like if they send stuff over, it's just gonna waste time. It's just part of the RNG of this game.
Right there's kind of a neat mechanic where you can get like a diamond clear off of another diamond clear, and you can kind of, that's another quick way to get rid of things. So the okay.
So you'll see right
Thanks,
there, the opponent sent a chain and it sent a column over to PD, but he was able to clear it right away.
Right.
This game does that. But it's really cool. Like we said, this game has never been in a GDQ. One day I randomly just started playing it. It's like, hey, and then people just started running it again. Cypher had a run up on speedrun.com, and it's like, oh, this could be a speedrun game. Cool. And so the thing you won't notice through one playthrough, but you will notice when you play multiple times, is that there's a set amount of patterns that go with particular stages. So we were like, oh, cool. So we can just look at the patterns and then figure out how to do the patterns with the bombs, but the bombs are still random. And then shout outs to a guy named DrewBot who came up with an RNG list for the bombs. So what the game does is it has a certain like bomb list, and then at the beginning of the next stage it will skip ahead 64, I think. And so what DrewBot made for several of the runners is he made a list of bombs so you can see exactly what bombs are going to drop in what order. And so I've kind of been doing a little bit of work on like finding like where these guys' RNG seeds are. And it's really interesting. And not super interesting from a stream perspective, but just from a nerd perspective.
It's a pretty good pattern.
But it's incredibly fascinating. But basically what you need to know is that there's not necessarily a god seed. I hate to break it to you. Because these guys are just so good that they can make almost anything work. But depending on your play style, you want certain color bombs to drop earlier or later. But it's just like the fact that I'm able to go through somebody's VOD, like I could go through this VOD later and just know like what bombs are going to drop, like the next 6 bombs down the line, just because of DrewBot's work. And hopefully we can translate that into some better times. I think it already has, honestly.
I'd say.
Yeah.
So, because Cypher played this, and then like all of a sudden, like Monty and Petey came in and just like the world record now is what, like for this mode is
For this mode, it's like 18 minutes.
Yeah, 1832.
Okay, so for perspective, I ran this game way back in 2010, and I got like a 27-minute time in this mode. I focused more on another mode called Expert Mode, which you might see in a later GDQ one day, maybe. But the Expert Mode involves like more bombs or more monsters being started on each field. But yeah, normal mode was like 27 minutes back in the day. And then Wario's Woods didn't really see any running activity for a long time until like roughly last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just exploded. Like people from the puzzle community, puzzle speedrunning community just picked it up. And Montucky, peteyboo, Nicole, and others have just been really pushing it. There was even like a tournament that happens, which was a lot of fun to participate in.
So one of the other things with the patterns I did want to bring up as well is part of the, as you see in the middle column beneath where the stars are flashing, there are 2 different types of monsters. So like what you call them is up for debate, but they're like, I think of them as the bunnies, and shout outs to my mom. She actually calls those like the little like things you plug in. Like those dudes, I don't know. That's what she thinks they look like.
Plugs?
But yeah, like the
Like an outlet?
Well, the wall outlets, yeah.
You mean an outlet?
That's
yeah,
cute.
Yeah. Hi, Mom.
Like
I know
the
she's
round
watching.
ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, Mom.
I can kind of see that, maybe.
We're strange, but anyway. So, the interesting thing when it comes to the bomb RNG is that they're kind of grouped within those colors. So for example, on this pattern, there's blue, yellow, and cyan for the one, and then yellow, green, and pink for the other set of monsters. And so when the bombs drop, they drop kind of in those groups and switch between. So that's kind of like when you're playing the game more often, that's how you know what color bombs are going to drop. Is okay, so if I see a dark blue bomb drop, I know that a yellow and cyan are coming relatively close. And if I have some long line of red monsters I need to clear, there's no point in picking them because it's not going to come for, you know, like here, like the red bomb should be in like 2, like 4, something like that. So there's no point in setting up that red diagonal line, right? You can wait, or you can't. But if you don't know,
Looks like it's paid off for
chain.
Petey.
4chain.
But that's kind of the idea. So it's the RNG is so fascinating, but inherently boring for.
And so one
this
thing
one
I'd like to
boring.
point out about PD's run so far, he's got really good patterns. So in each stage, we can group them together in various ways. There are 16 different patterns that PD could get. And PD so far has gotten, in my opinion, some of the more optimal stages, this being one of them. An optimal stage really is anything you can set up a 5, or in my personal preference, a 6 combo in like 5 or 6 moves. Because in these later stages, we're looking for crushes. I don't know if we mentioned it earlier. When you get a 4 combo, so clearing 3 monsters with a bomb, it lowers the thwomp by 1, a 5 combo by 2, and a 6 combo by 3. And so we can get some really fast crush kills in the late game with good patterns. There are also some crap patterns,
Nice.
and we will see those undoubtedly.
Because there's kind of like 3 sections to this run too. There's whatever this is.
It's like the mountain area, and like
Mountains.
starting at Sarissa, we see the same patterns all the way through Wario and normal versus com. I don't know if you noticed that before.
Really? Huh.
But in expert, it changes. Well, of course, you know what kind of patterns are
Yeah.
in expert in the castle.
Yeah,
Because you know the
it's-
game cheats.
Right.
Just a heads up if you do want to run this game. There is a lot of cheating involved.
Yes.
Not by the runner.
Yeah, but you'll have noticed that PD's getting way more crush kills now because both players are starting with much higher stacks than in the early game. Like, I think in the early game you start with like 4 rows.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Whereas here you're starting with like 6.
Yeah.
So he's much, the opponent is much closer to the ceiling, and it only takes like 2 combos to kill him.
And even though the AI doesn't really know how to play the game, it is very defensive. If the AI clears anything diagonally, their thwomp will raise.
They get so many diagonals when you want them to just die. It's
I
so annoying.
swear.
It's so annoying.
I'm convinced the programmers, it's the only thing they program for the AI to do.
Yeah,
is
just
like,
get
a diagonal.
Just get as many
and-
diagonals as possible.
Yes.
Because diagonals raise the ceiling 1.
Yeah.
A 4 combo raises it by 2, and then various other things raise it more.
Yeah, I've always wondered how much a chain raises is. It seems like it raises all the way up, and it's very frustrating.
I don't know if it's all the way up, but it's a lot.
Or like even
It's
a
a lot,
breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast and chains both raise it a lot.
Well, it's probably because a breakfast is a 5 clear in a sense. You're clearing,
Yeah.
Well, you're clearing 4 monsters with the bomb, so a 5
Right.
clear.
Just one moment to appreciate the beautiful art in the background there.
I was saying before the run, why didn't we have someone paint a creepy Wario smile
Yes.
tapestry or
With
something?
Wario's cross-eyed smile.
So. No, this is what we consider Castle. It's the last 4 stages. If you ever play the game and read through the character dialogue, they'll basically say when you get to this point, you'll never lose, we always win, and stuff like that. Which it doesn't seem so true in normal mode, but sometimes in expert mode, it's definitely.
This is such a good pattern. I just want to point
Oh.
that out.
Yeah.
'Cause
Holy
it's
moly.
Like for
That's
any
great.
beginner that's played versus com, this is the sweetest pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, a major factor in how good a given run is of this game. It's dependent on like the patterns you get, like the starting board patterns, because some patterns just lend themselves to easy 5s way better than others, and that's a huge deal.
Crushing there.
Really sweet patterns here.
These patterns look really good. Oops. Great run.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
we've
this is
seen
like
a
sub
really
20
bad
pace. This is
pattern.
sub 20 pace, right?
This is definitely
Yeah.
sub 20 pace.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, so we've seen this pattern before, but if you were paying attention, you noticed that there is a different bomb pattern for this. And so this can be troublesome if you're really accustomed to doing something a certain way.
right, the lists. I forgot to talk about the lists. So I have been talking about the lists, but the other part of the lists that are fascinating is that there are 4 lists. The way Druid set them up is that it skips 64 bombs to the next beginning, and it goes down, 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 and then it skips. But that is set, right? So once PD enters the file, that is completely set for the entire file. How you change that is through the demo mode at the beginning. You can change that through round game, and you can change that through something called time mode as well, with how many bombs drop, and that will shift the RNG seed for the versus Comrade. Now, interestingly enough, multiplayer, there's like a little demo of multiplayer at the beginning. That actually does not affect the RNG seed, which is kind of weird.
Ooh, that was
Yeah.
nice.
1 second. He stole my soup.
Yes. So.
Yeah, so if you didn't notice before, our runner here is cosplaying as Harry H. So all these, I guess we didn't mention that, all these characters do have names. And
Yeah.
you see them at the very end when you beat them for the 3rd time. And some of them have pretty cool names.
Did you guys know that if you lose to one of these enemies and then reface them, they have different dialogue?
Yes.
No, really?
Yeah,
Yes,
they do.
they
They
do.
do. They do.
Yeah. Can't
believe I
They
didn't
like
notice
taunt
that.
you and stuff.
Look,
They're like,
like-
"Oh, you lost. Oh, you
You're
better
back
do."
for more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
They say stuff like that.
Like, haha, you didn't catch me cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. It's really and the other thing is the Toad will have like a grumpy face too.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
Toad's face will be like super
I
mad.
want to see this
I-
grumpy Toad face, Petey. You should lose.
No, you
Dude,
aren't
this face is
sub
too good.
Tiny Pace
You're,
Man.
dude, you're scared he's gonna beat your
Please.
record right now.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a little shook, but it's okay. It's okay. Good luck, Petey.
So one more thing I wanted to mention about the lists is that so sometimes the way Jude set them up is there were a list 1, list 2, list 3, list 4. But for some reason that I cannot figure out, sometimes the 4th list doesn't exist. So what will happen is instead of advancing 64 bombs forward in the RNG, it'll bounce back. So instead of going list 1, list 2, list 3, list 4, it will go list 1, list 2, list 2, list 3. And the 4th list like won't even exist.
Oh, that was nice.
So I don't know if it's depending on the cart. I don't know if it's depending on something in round mode. But all of these guys, I checked their runs for the RNG list. All of them have had a run with list
He's had
4
that
and
pattern
without
like
list
3
4.
times.
So yeah, I know Druid knows more about how the patterns. I think it's something about the frames before you start the stage. But it's really
really
fascinating. Yeah.
So this is an example of a pattern that, in my opinion, is not optimal. You can see there aren't like a lot of fast ways to get a 5. Well, of course, there's one right there. However, even though we said there's like 16 patterns per stage, like unique patterns, we've really been seeing the same 3 or 4 pretty often in Castle, wouldn't you all say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
By the
how
way,
you-
this is Wario. This is the final opponent of the
Oh,
game.
yeah. This is
Yeah.
the reason why it's Wario's Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're wondering where Wario was
Yeah.
in Wario's Woods, well, here
right.
he is.
Respect the lore.
And it's not really intuitive because we start the game in like the hills or something against the ghosts, but you do
Yeah.
start the game in easy mode in actual woods.
Yes.
So it's why
Yeah.
this isn't like Wario's castle or like Wario's crib or something. But
Really,
nice chain.
Really? Oh, come
fine.
on, dude. It's good.
Yeah, that's
good. That's good. This game does that. It gives, it takes.
At some point, there's like a lot of rebounds in Wario's Woods. A lot of things happening at the same time.
Oh, very nice find there. There you go.
All right, one more round.
One more
All
round.
right.
So
You got 13 seconds to get sub 20.
I don't think I'm gonna get that.
Not with this pattern, especially.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, nice. Nice follow with the blues there.
Very. Oh,
Whoops. Come on.
so good.
Ooh.
Ah,
That's a very creative chain.
Wow.
yes. Oh,
Breakfast. Breakfast.
no! And
Might as well get rid of it.
Oh, this is almost done here.
it's
All right,
sometimes
time's
gonna
coming up.
be, like right as soon as he put up, as soon as Toad throws
And
up.
Time.
Nice. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Excellent run.
That's a great one.
Nice low 20.
All right.
So if you enjoyed Wario's Woods, you should definitely join our Discord, The Puzzle General, where we talk about Wario's Woods and other puzzle games. And in The Puzzle General, we have an event coming up called the Puzzle Mystery Challenge, which is like the mystery tournament on SRL, but it's with all puzzle games. So if you like that, you should come over to The Puzzle General.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Amazing run.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for having us.
Yeah.
Woods!
DSF.
Definitely looks like